Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Leanne Sanders. The majority of the country is under an extreme cold warning due to the polar vortex coming over from Siberia. With the wind chill projected to reach almost -60, this weather can cause serious risks. Abby St. John spoke with global meteorologist Peter Quinlan to get more information on the extreme cold and how long it could stick around.
I'm very happy to be joined here today by Global News' meteorologist, Peter Quinlan. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Abby.
Now, this isn't the greatest bit of news.
Mm-mm.
It's not going to be the best conversation, but it's definitely needed. Recently,
Yes.
both BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan are all under an extreme cold warning. And the temperatures are not getting warmer for the next few days. Can you tell me a little bit about why we're so cold right now? Because we talked a little bit earlier on, we went from -5, -6 to then immediately switching to -30. So what happened with that extreme change that we had?
Yeah, so that was quite the shift, and it took place around the 6th to the 7th. We went from seeing minus single-digit highs down into the Arctic air, and the part of the reason was we had this pool of Arctic air that usually sits over the North Pole that we call the polar vortex that slid over from Siberia toward northern and even central Canada, and that brought with it the Arctic conditions, the frigid air, and we've been seeing those -20 temperatures, -30 wind chills ever since the 7th, and now those wind chills are even pushing into the -50. So this is quite the blast, and it's been lingering, and it's going to linger right into next week.
Yes, that was going to be my next question. How long can we suspect that this cold warning is going to last, or how long do you think it's going to be in effect for people to, kind of prepare themselves a little bit for the days to come and with their vehicles and all that?
Yeah, this is going to be quite the prolonged streak of cold. It looks like we're going to be seeing probably rock bottom Friday night into Saturday morning, when we could see overnight lows around -44 to -45, wind chills around -55 to -58. So exposed skin, can freeze in just a few minutes out there, Abby. It's not going to be very nice. We will see a bit of moderation. Overnight lows will go to the -30s Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Daytime highs will still be in the -30s, probably until later on Monday when we get to the -20s. Then next week, I think we'll maybe get a bit of a break through the middle to end of the week. We may see a bit of a bump up in temperatures. Overnight lows might not be quite as cool. And then next weekend is when we could be in for quite the treat. We might even be in the -teens.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I thought when you said we're in for something, I thought it was going to be obviously we're going to go right back. So that's fantastic. And I did, looking on to like the next week and so on temperatures that I can see on my board, it does seem like we're going to get back into like the mid-teens, which is really nice. Now this year has been very weird for the winter. So it's kind of hard to go off of what we have now, but usually in past years we get like the first really freezing strip for a week in January, but then it occurs again in February. Do you suspect that this is going to be the same thing this year, or maybe even a prolonged period of time where we have that really extreme cold, or is this kind of the worst it's going to get?
It's a little too soon to say for sure, but we do start to get into longer days in February. So the averages gradually start to creep back up. I would be surprised if we see another cold snap this cold in February. We might see some colder days that might be in the -40s with wind chill, but maybe not into the -50s as frequently as we're seeing, for instance, this week. But we will likely see some extreme cold days. The overall trend for the winter season, which is December, January, February, will still probably end up trending above average, because December was the warmest on record for Lloydminster, and that'll just push the average up. And I think February will probably end up eventually trending back up toward above average temperatures, but it's still a ways away. Things can change between now and then.
And finally, do you have any recommendations for people, whether they're traveling? I know I mentioned earlier my car did not breathe life into itself this morning. So, and you did mention that, this extreme cold can affect your skin as soon as you walk outside. So do you have any, I guess, recommendations for people if they do absolutely have to go outside this weekend?
Yeah, I would say make sure you don't have any exposed skin. So wear whatever you got to do that. I sometimes wear 2 sets of socks, 2 mitts, 2 toques, and also something over your face is one of the areas that often gets frostbitten. So a scarf, a balaclava, one of those neck warmers you can pull up a little bit higher, because a lot of it is the wind chill that hits your face when you're walking into the wind that can freeze your skin quite quickly. And frostbite is a real concern. Sometimes frostbite leads to nerve damage and the need for amputation. So it's not something you want to mess with. And if you do find yourself getting too cold in, say, the areas around your eyes that you can't completely cover up, but you could actually wear ski goggles to cover that up, you need to seek medical help as soon as you can.
Awesome. Well, despite this not being the greatest topic to talk about, it was very important. So thank you so much for joining me today, Peter. And we definitely will talk again as we get further into the month and into February to see, hopefully things do warm up a little bit. So
Yes.
thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Abby.
This cold weather is also affecting many drivers in the city whose vehicles just wouldn't start. So we spoke to an expert about some ways to maintain your vehicle in good condition. Station Auto and Lube gave some tips to help keep your vehicles in good driving condition.
Tyres. Tyres is a big thing. As soon as the temperature drops, tyres can drop between 5 and 10 psi. So you must have your tyres checked quite periodically.
Daryl also added some tips to make sure you and your vehicles stay warm during this cold snap.
Your heater, when you have your heater on, or your blow motor, to make sure that you only have it on a low setting when it's extremely cold, because it's pointless having a high setting blowing cold air in the vehicle. Let it warm up first.
He encourages drivers to do routine maintenance before and after the winter season to ensure the longevity of your vehicle. It's time now for the entertainment corner. Here's Ty Roswell.
I'm Ty Roswell, and I'm here once again at May Cinema 6 to give you the scoop on what's going on in the movie world this weekend. So it's been a pretty slow month for movies this year, but Aquaman 2: The Lost Kingdom is still swimming its way to the top of the box office.
Directed by James Wan and rated PG-13. After failing to defeat Aquaman the first time, Black Manta wields the power of the mythic Black Trident to unleash an ancient and malevolent force. Hoping to end his reign of terror, Aquaman forms an unlikely alliance with his brother Orm, the former king of Atlantis.
So if you're a fan of Aquaman, you're going to want to check out Aquaman 2 here at May Cinema 6 before it's gone. So our big premiere this week is Mean Girls, and I've been seeing a lot of confusion online about this movie. It is a remake, but it is also a musical.
Rated PG-13 and directed by Arturo Perez Jr. The revised story follows essentially the same plot. Katie Heron moves from Africa to the Chicago suburbs and finds herself a fish out of water as she tries to navigate the surprisingly animalistic halls of her new high school.
So if you're looking to relive the good old days with a new twist, Mean Girls will have you covered. So that's all the time we have this week on the Entertainment Corner. But remember, if not everything we talked about today suits you, well, there's plenty of others to choose from here at May Cinema 6.
Abby St. John joins me now, and we are talking about the weather, and not such a pretty picture ahead of us for the weekend. It's a great one to stay home and stay warm.
That's definitely what I'll do, especially because my car is not working. My neighbor's car isn't working. My roommate's car wasn't working. So I feel like a lot of people's vehicles are not starting, and I think, maybe that's a good sign to stay home, because it's going to get horribly freezing, as you guys have already seen in the interview I did with Peter Quinlan. Yeah, it's super, super cold out. We are still, of course, under that extreme cold warning. That's going to carry over into the weekend. probably not going to be lifting until maybe Monday, maybe even later. Minus 35 currently right now. However, with that wind chill, it feels closer to minus 48. And that's not even the coldest that it's going to get this weekend. So definitely be cautious if you're going outside. Definitely cover up pretty much every inch of your skin if you're going outside. Winds at 17 kilometers per hour. It's, despite the sun that we had today, it didn't really make a difference. Current temperatures across Alberta, minus 35 in Provost, Bonnyville, Cold Lake, and Marwayne. Minus 37 out in Wainwright, minus 36 in Vermilion, minus 34 in Vegreville and St. Paul, minus 32 in Edmonton, and minus 34 also out in Lac La Biche. On the Saskatchewan side, minus 37 in Isla Crosse, minus 35 in Pierceland, and minus 36 in Green Lake, Meadow Lake, St. Walburg, Maidstone, Mackland, and in North Battleford. Overnight tonight in North Battleford will drop down to minus 39, will be your low for this evening. Overcast, very cold, and like this says, life-threatening cold air. Protect your skin and your vehicles. Make sure they're plugged in, but sometimes that won't even make a difference with this frigid temperature. So, but be cautious about being outside yourself over the weekend. Tomorrow, daytime high of minus 32, hazy sunshine, and it will remain very, very cold, extreme cold temperatures. Wind chill will probably be well into the minus 40s with that daytime high. Overnight tonight in Cold Lake will drop down to minus 43. Very, very cold, so I recommend just stay inside. Don't go outside this evening. Low clouds in the sky, very, very cold. Tomorrow, a high of minus 31. Very cold, and there will be some sun, so it will be a mix of sun and cloud tomorrow with winds at 7 kilometers per hour. Overnight tonight here in Lloydminster will drop down to minus 39. Very cold. The clouds will start to clear up, but it's still going to be extremely freezing. And then tomorrow, to break down the incredibly cold day that we're going to have, minus 38 around 6 a.m. Partially sunny, partially cloudy skies. It will still be dark. And then around noontime, we'll have a little bit of sun, minus 34. Minus 36 around 6 p.m., mostly clear skies as well, and then midnight it should be fairly clear at minus 37. However, those with that wind chill, we're probably looking in the high minus 40s, even heading that minus 50 mark as well. So take caution when you're going out this weekend. Over the next 3 days, like I said, a high of minus 32 and a low of minus 37 for tomorrow. On Sunday, a very sunny day, but regardless, it's going to be very leading with a high of minus 28 and a low of minus 33. And then on Monday, mostly cloudy day with a high of minus 23 and a low of minus 28. That's the first look at your evening weather forecast. I'll have more overnight temperatures later on in the show.
The ASTEC Safety Challenge is well underway, and the world-class curlers have delivered with a flurry of nail-biting games to start off the early rounds. Our Thomas Wildman has more on the action so far.
Day one of the ASTEC Safety Challenge was entertaining throughout all 4 draws, including Kevin Cooey and Ryan Parent going to an extra end in Draw 2 that led to a 6-5 Team Cooey victory. Into Draw 3, where the top-ranked teams in the world got a bye, with Joel Retornores from Italy taking care of business and netting an 8-4 victory over Team Huskins. Yannick Schwaller from Switzerland, ranked 3rd in the world, was able to grab a 6-2 victory over Saskatoon's Mike McEwen. And finally, host team Brandon Botcher, ranked 2nd in the world, were in an Alberta showdown against Team Aaron Slachinski. A hard-played game, but 2 big 2-enders for Team Slachinski in the 4th and 6th ends, and a steal of 1 in the 7th led to the handshake to give Slachinski the win.
You know what? We've had a great season. We've had a little bit of an up and down closer to Christmas. We regrouped after Christmas. We got some good practice sessions in, and we had a couple of good sessions with our coach, and just being in the slams this year has definitely helped us learn a little bit more from the elite teams, and we're getting there. We still have a lot of work to do, but we're not going away.
With their 2 early wins, Team Slachinski is 1 win away from qualifying into the championship round and joins the top-seeded teams like Brad Gushu, Joel Retornores, Nicholas Adine, Yannick Schwaller, and Bruce Moat, and the team is enjoying their time here in the border city.
Yeah, this is the first time we've been in Lloyd for sure. Great event. They've put on a fantastic event so far. We appreciate all the hard work that's gone into it, and I'm sure this will be one for the calendar for many years to come.
The tournament is far from over for Team Botcher and others who were unsuccessful in the A bracket, as there are still qualifying spots in the B and C bracket in the triple elimination format. If you're interested, make sure to head over to the Lloyd X to watch the live stream and possibly meet some of the players, or watch it yourself at either Curling Zone or the Lloydminster Curling Club YouTube pages. Thomas Wildman, Primetime, local news.
Now a look at all of the pet pictures you've been sending in for our Pet of the Day.
We want to see your pets. Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
I'm joined by Chris Bogue of the beautiful Mount Joy Ski Hill. Now, Chris, we are finally into the full winter season, a lot colder than most people would probably like. But what are the reopening plans for Mount Joy?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the season, it's been a really rough year with snowmaking and natural snow. As we know, with the warmer temperatures, now it's swung the other way, and the weather is too cold to open. So we won't be opening up this weekend, but we're planning on opening the weekend of the 20th. So the 20th and 21st will be open for regular hours, and that is 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon.
Well, that's a quick turnaround, and I know that Mount Joy is fully volunteer operated. Do you guys need any more volunteers this season?
Yeah, every year we always need volunteers. Anybody that wants to come out and help us out, that would be great. On our website, you can sign up to be a volunteer, so it gets to the proper coordinators to get those roles and assignments tasked out to the people.
Perfect. And I know you guys are hosting some of the wintergration and doing some of the ski and snowboard portions. Do you guys have any other events coming up at Mount Joy that you're going to be doing this season?
We're going to try to get our yearly night skiing in, where we go out and set up all of the lights, as we don't have permanent lighting systems out there. We will try to get the lights back up so we can do night skiing. The Wintergrations program is a great program. It was good to see a lot of fresh faces out on the hill last year. So that's really good. We will be starting up our ski school and our ski club on the weekend of the 27th and 28th. They can be signed up on our website as well. The ski school is what it is for new skiers or snowboarders to come out and to learn how to ski and snowboard. But the ski club is based around for a little bit more advanced people that just want to have a group to go out and ride with or ski with, and they'll be doing anything from, well, when the snow comes, obviously, from backcountry to park things to just working on a regular slope style, I guess.
So for someone who has never been to Mount Joy, could you tell me about what you guys offer and kind of the layout of the ski hill?
We have 17 runs. We're on 204 acres. We have a backcountry section. Obviously, that's really dependent on natural snow, but a lot of people find a lot of fun in it. Our hill from base to summit is 100 meters, which is comparable to Table or Kinnessoo Ridge. We offer a T-bar and a tow rope. That's all we have for conveyance, but it's perfectly fine. I think you make good skiers and snowboarders people that can combat the T-bars.
Well, that's amazing. It sounds like a great spot. And do you guys have the ability to make snow yourselves with snowmakers?
Definitely, yeah. We make a lot of snow out there. We have a fairly large allocation for the amount of water that we can use for snowmaking purposes. We've already had one snowmaking campaign right now, and that has taken care of everything for our Bunny Hill and our base area. The next snowmaking campaign will be coming up probably near the 20th, and then we'll be starting to work on our lift line and our upper sections. So for opening weekend, only expect that the Bunny Hill will be open, but it still will be a lot of fun out there. But we do have snowmaking capabilities, and we're just waiting for our pond to be filled back up so we can make some more snow.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. And I'm sure with the long-awaited start to the ski season that many people would be stoked just to go onto the Bunny Hill.
Yeah. That's right. There's still a lot of fun to be had.
Exactly. And do you guys offer ski and snowboard rental services as well?
We have our own ski and snowboard rental fleet out there that's maintained very well, and our volunteers will get you fitted up and get you out the door on some quality equipment, so anybody can come out and experience it.
Well, yeah, that makes it easy for everyone. And tell me about your hours of operation for the ski school as well.
Yes, definitely. So Mount Joy is only open on the weekends as it's volunteer ran. Throughout the weekdays, throughout the seasons, we'll have things like school groups come in, but it's a little bit, obviously there's a lot more preparation that goes into that than just being open on regular weekdays, which we are not.
Right, that makes sense, Chris. Well, I hope you have a great season at Mount Joy, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of skiers and snowboarders very shortly here.
Absolutely. Thanks, Colin.
The Lloyd-X is a busy place this weekend. Coming up tomorrow, the Lloydminster Ukrainian Cultural Association is hosting their annual Dine and Dance out at the Lloyd-X. Also here at the Lloyd-X this weekend, it's the family fun area, so you can watch some of the ASTEC Safety Curling Challenge. And underway right now at the Lloyd-X, it is the 3rd annual Cattleman's Call, and it's going to continue tomorrow. Tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m., that's when they have their first of their halter shows, and they're going to start off with the purebred heifers, and then the shows are going to continue throughout the day tomorrow. You're welcome to stop by the 3rd annual Cattleman's Call tomorrow right here at the Lloyd-X. You'll find more details on their website, lloydex.com. Coming up on Thursday night at the Vic Juba Community Theatre, the award-winning Jake Battleland and the Sturgeon River Boys are going to take to the stage. They've got a traditional country music sound, but they blend that with some bluegrass and some 50s rockabilly. It's a whole lot of fun. You're going to have a great time if you head out to this show. Plus, they just won the Roots Folk Artist of the Year Award at the SAS Music Awards. There's still a few tickets left for this great show coming up on Thursday night, so don't miss out. Get your tickets now online, vicjubatheatre.ca. Is there somebody in your household that wants to learn how to skate? They want to try out curling. They want to go snowboarding. Well, Wintergration is quickly approaching, and these activities, they are free for school-age children, but you do need to get registered now so that you don't miss out on all the fun. Call 780-875-9084 to get registered now. The fun begins next week with the first outing to go skating. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe, stay warm, and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
Lee Rosen joins me today from the RCMP's Operational Command Center in Regina. They take all the calls that come into the center, including 911 calls. They compile a list in January to talk about the top 10 most outstanding calls or most notable calls. And Lee, can you tell me which ones stand out for you?
The one that was most surprising for me was the one that came out as number 1, where somebody called in to 911 and was complaining about how strong the deep fried food smell was in the rink they were in. And I remember saying to the room that day, I wasn't working that day that call came in, but the team I happened to be working with was, and they said, yeah, he was mad because the smell was too strong. And of course, that begs the question, okay, what do you want an RCMP officer to do about that? And of course, I'm a homegrown Saskatchewan farm girl, so my go-to answer is, well, that's the second reason you go to a hockey rink. First, you go for the sports, whether it's curling, hockey, ringette. The second thing you're going there for is the rink food. Come on, you're complaining about the smell of onion rings, and it's a 911 call. And as 911 operators, it's incredibly frustrating because there are people, you could be tying up a line for somebody who has an actual emergency. And how in anyone's universe is the smell of deep fried food an emergency? Now, having said that, I do want people to understand that as 911 operators, we still have to go through the motions to make sure this person isn't having a medical crisis. Are they making sense? Do they maybe presenting, they could have been involved in a car accident and they think that, so we still have to process the calls and make sure there actually is not an emergency. But no, it was just the smell of deep fried food in the rink they were in.
Do you see a certain number that are outright prank calls to the call center?
There are people that do that. They think it's funny. It's not. It's an abuse of the system. There's a summary offense charge under the Emergency 911 Act, and there can be fines of up to $2,000 for it. You need to understand that when you call 911, whether it's from your cell phone or whether it's from your landline, we know your location. So we can find out, investigators can, who place the calls. Not always, because there might be, a big uncertainty as far as where the actual cell phone is and how many people are at the scene, but we have the location and we need that information, because if somebody can't speak and you call 911, we know at least where police or ambulance or paramedics or firefighters need to go.
I do know that you are a very busy call center for the entire province. Can you tell me about the numbers?
Our calls for service total went down a little bit in 2023. So in 2022, we had just about 353,000 calls into the 911, into our communication center. Now, keep in mind, that's not all 911 calls. That can be everything from, I lost my ticket, I need to schedule a criminal record check, what time is the detachment open, that sort of thing. But it also intermixed in there are the 911 calls. So in 2023, we had 352,000, just about 352,700 calls for service in Saskatchewan. Of those, it was almost 73,000 911 calls. We're a busy center. We're a really busy center. So there's always a phone ringing. There's always a radio ringing that needs to be answered as well. So we want to educate the public on the proper use of 911. It's there for a reason. It's there for convenience, but it's not there for abuse.
Do you get a certain number of calls, Lee, from people who may just be lonely and want someone to talk to?
When something like that happens, many times when it comes in like that, it's more of a medical call. I think that our fellow paramedic dispatchers may experience that more than us, but absolutely. And when it comes to looking after the more vulnerable in our communities, we can certainly send an officer out there to do an assessment just to make sure they're okay, and that, there's no sort of abuse or there's no sort of neglect, or if they need to be checked on a wellness check, and we understand that.
Lee, do you have any final thoughts on the calls that you get at the center?
It is 3 points. Number one, if you're not sure if it's an emergency, you're not quite sure, probably isn't. So if you're not sure if it's an emergency and you call 911, honestly, it's okay. We're still going to get you the help that you need. But if you have to sit there and go, I don't know if this is an emergency or not, it's not. You do not have to remember the phone number to your detachment. You don't. You can remember, all you have to remember is 310 RCMP. That's 310-7267. Don't have to dial 1, don't have to dial 306. 310-7267, and that'll get you to the communication center 24/7, 365 days a year. And if you're really not sure if it's an emergency or not, 310 RCMP is the way to go.
Well, thank you for your time today, Lee. I do appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity. It was so good to see you again.
And that is all that we have for you tonight. Have a good evening and stay warm.